Good day, trader, and welcome to the last webinar for July 2016. I want to start off and show you the portfolio. This is the all-time portfolio of the Red Hot Storm Trader. So you can see in 2008 or 2010, it didn't do that great. Obviously, I don't know, there was a financial market crisis and there was a lot of panic and fear, and I'm not too sure about what happened, but I can show you that in 2013, and this is where I'm entitled to, 2013, this is where I joined Red Hot Storm Trader, and you can clearly see that the equity curve has been going up on a consistent basis, or a gradual basis, if I can say that much. And it has been making zigzags, so it does have its ups and downs. But more importantly, if we can look at the current portfolio, so from September 2015 till today, July 2016, you can see that the portfolio has been going up. Currently, it hit its high at 315% and currently at 160%. But I do expect these zigzags, as you saw in the long-term portfolio. And with the Brexit, obviously, the markets were put on hold, the trading was put on hold in terms of the movements and the environment, because there were a lot of sideways channels. But now we're starting to see a little bit more traction to the upside, and it looks like the JSE is starting to choose a good direction. So we can go straight to the charts, and I'm going to go through these the watch list so you can see what I'm looking at. So we can start off with the resources. Anglo is starting to form this beautiful cup and handle where we could be seeing some great upside. The first target could be well over 200, let's just see, or let's give an estimate around 196. But you know, resources, I have been hesitant to trade over the last couple of years because of the way it's been moving. So I'm going to watch out for Anglo. If it breaks out, maybe we can get in and risk 1 or 2% of our portfolio and see what happens, because this cup and handle has been forming almost the entire year, and now it's showing some momentum to the upside. Okay, Anglo-American Platinum has made also almost like a cup and handle. It's broken out and it's showing upside. I'm still, as I said, hesitant with resources, so it's a flip of a coin. But if I see a change in the momentum of the markets, then we'll definitely get in. All right, Anglo Gold is continuously going up on a nice uptrend. No breakouts as per se. This is more for trend traders or momentum traders. So I mean, you just buy and you hold long term, pretty much. Aspen, not much going on there. African Rainbow, we got in today. All right, so it formed a beautiful cup and handle. We got a nice movement between where the stop loss and the take profit is, and you can see that we have a very nice take profit area. So the risk to reward is around 1 to 2, which looks good at the moment. All right, Barlow World also form a cup and handle. The sideways movement has still cut me off from trading it, but what we are seeing are higher lows throughout the formation. All right, BGA, Barclays of Africa, also this continuous sideways movement, probably too risky to get into a long-term trade now, or a medium-term trade now, purely because the high is around 160 Rand, which is very close to where it is now, and then it could turn very easily and go down. So this is good for mean reversion or sideways momentum traders. Bidvest, as you know, it had its uncoupling, and not much going on here. I'm still waiting for a certain direction. Okay, let's go to Billiton. Same story with the resources and the sideways movement. Basil Reed, not much going on. So I'll just go through these quite a lot. Excuse me, Bidvest is here, BVT. That was where the uncoupling happened, as you can see with the huge gap where it became Bidcorp and Bidvest. All right, Richemont. Well, Richemont yesterday had a very nice day. It was up around 2.99%. There were fantastic results from the European luxury group, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton, or as you know, the LVMH group, as it's known, which is a French multinational luxury goods that's based in Paris. So this obviously with those results, it helped the groups like Christian Dior and Kering High on the European markets, and clearly it's helping a little bit with Richemont. But there is this continuous downside trend that I'm not happy yet. It needs to break out above 91.2 Rand before I find any form of upside or long-term trade for it. But this sideways movement is basically saying that it's found a potential low. So dare I say that the low will be 81.78 for a long time. But because it's in a downtrend, I'm not too sure. All right. Clicks, continuous upside, good for momentum traders. CML, not much going on there. It's forming a rounding bottom and it's broken out. So this is normally where we get in. But I'm not too familiar with this share. It's still new in my watch list as I haven't taken it, so I'm still watching the momentum. And also I watch for these wicks. These wicks are not good for traders because they stop you out. They sometimes hit your take profit prematurely, but sometimes they can hit your stop loss prematurely. DRD, as you know, gold is doing very well. It is a safe haven since the Brexit madness. Discovery, sideways, not much going on. EOH sideways, a euro dollar. I don't know why that's on my watch list. I think I should incorporate a couple more currencies, but euro dollar, I'm not very good at trading. I prefer the Aussie dollar. Xara we got into a few days ago. It's currently just above our entry price. Our stop loss is still looking good, and our take profit. So I'm quite comfortable with where it is. Famous Brands. Unfortunately, Famous Brands, it did form the cup and handle. We did get in. We did bank a 23.4% gain, but I raised my stop loss because the market went to a certain level where I should raise my stop loss, but this candle went and stopped us out, and then since then it's been going up. So you do get those situations, and you must just remain calm. You don't worry about past trades and just focus on the future trades. FSR made a beautiful sideways W formation, broken out, it's gone to the upside, but remember I was hesitant because of this continuous sideways. So it was the luck of the dice whether it would have done well. Goldfields going up, as all gold. Grindrod, not much going on here. It's formed almost like a sine wave, and it looks like its next target could be at 14 Rand 30, and the low is at 8 Rand 70, but I think I need to wait for one more formation before we get into Grindrod. Okay, not much going on. Harmony, same story with gold. However, it is lacking the upside compared to Anglo Gold and DRD. Okay, let's go through a few more. Kumba. So Kumba has gained over 4% after the company announced its earnings growth of 20% for the first time in 6 months. Okay, so I'm quite happy to eventually take a trade with Kumba. It just needed to break above 137 and then we can get in. I'm just going to write that down. Because I am quite, it does look good, those new structures that are taking place in the company, which could be very profitable for the iron ore companies and for iron ore itself. So that's the story with Kumba. I've written it down. Looks like it could be a potential trade. Lewis sideways, Lonman sideways. Okay, SAB, well, interesting thing going on here. If you've been keeping up to date with the buying of Anheuser-Busch InBev, so what happened was they pumped up their share price from £44 to £45. So it doesn't sound much, in terms of per share, but when you look at the actual deal, you'll realize that this is enormous because they're basically saying that they've raised their bid for SAB Miller to 1.48 trillion rand. And investors, this is not a good time to raise the share price, purely because of the Brexit, purely because the pound has been dropping lately, And so it's quite greedy to just raise the price from £44 to £45, and investors are really concerned with the deals behind, with the SAB Anheuser-Busch InBev. So I don't know. I don't see anything other than downside, to be honest. And this is now going to a technical aspect. So let's zoom out into this share and see exactly what I'm looking at, and that is this enormous M formation. You can see there's been an M formation forming since October 2015, broke below the neckline in July, 1st of July, and now its next target, believe it or not, it looks like it could be at 726 Rand. Alright, so that does not show good upside for SAB technically. I'm not sure fundamentally things could change, but technically it looks like the next target could be at 726 Rand. Will we short it? I'm not too sure, because this is a very big formation, and the risk is high in terms of where do I put my stop loss. So maybe if it forms another little formation around here, then we could get in. But I also like to avoid the madness, as you know, especially when there's the tug of war with SAB Anheuser-Busch InBev. And and also over the last month alone, the share has lost over 9%. But if you look at the previous movements, it's still up over 25% higher than where it is today. So it's not in a bear trend, but it does look like it's going to be coming down to retest around 726 Rand. All right. So I'm not going to do anything just yet. I'd rather wait for a formation. Okay. ShopRite. Well, big shock with ShopRite, right? There were strong sales in Africa. So just when people say that the economy is crumbling and one more quarter of downside and we could enter a recession, and then ShopRite goes and they pump up their share price over, let's see, 2.47% with the strong sales in Africa, right? So it looks like more upside is in for ShopRite, but we need to wait for a formation before we get in. There was this form of W formation, but this candle over here that made ShopRite go up 9.54% was too high for an entry price. So I will have to wait for another formation. Then let's go to the JSE. Let's see. So just so you know, I'm using a new trading platform the last 2 weeks. It's called ProTrader, and I'm using a broker called Rand Swiss. You can open a demo account. You won't have as many stocks and options to trade, but you can look at how the charts work and everything else. And if you do want a live account, then you can go to randswiss.com /open-account -FSP, and then you can even get better rates from us. You can also contact 011-781-4454. You can speak to Gary and tell him I referred you, and then you can try out this ProTrader for yourself. I mean, it's the first time in 10 years that I've actually changed from Ami Broker to ProTrader. I'm very happy with this layout and how it works with the chart, and also I get to see news on what's going on in the markets. You'll be able to see news when you log on, or the SENS, the Stock Exchange News Service. So the JSE is still making that diamond formation I showed you. There's nothing new other than it's bounced off that low that we were waiting for, and that gives us some opportunities to go long. So I'm not 100% confident that the JSE will go up until it breaks around 48,000. All right, when it breaks 48,000, I'll feel more confident and we'll pump out many more trades. Even though we have been sending trades in the last 2 weeks and even one today, and we have been banking gains again, which is fantastic. I just need that extra little confirmation. I'm a very risk-averse trader, as you notice. So that's about sums it up for the webinar for today. I'm sure you have an idea on what I'm looking for what's going on in the world with all the deals and the earnings, and with the Brexit, well, the post-Brexit reaction. And now you're up to date and you can prepare for your next trade. So thank you for listening as always, and spending a little bit of time watching this webinar. I will see you hopefully next week.